Hello, Alliance. This is Miss Chan here. We are entering a rainy spring season, and it is time for us to refresh on our reading goals. It's Alliance 100 time. We all need a refresher sometimes, and if you are new to the Alliance fam, this is what all that Alliance 100 business is about. So on your notes, make sure that you are getting this down. Alliance 100 means 100% of advisories reading 4 times a week. That's in your 20 minutes of reading time. 100% of students reading a book on your own during reading time, building that independence. And 100% of students, every single person, making growth on that last SRI test on May 16th. Why are you at school if you're not growing, improving, and learning? That's the point. Okay, it's time for a walk down memory lane. So we've come a long way. Here's a look back at our accomplishments. In our first challenge, we competed to see which advisory could read the most minutes. Big ups to our first winners, Mr. Parda, Mr. Aisa, and Mr. Zong's advisories. Then came our winter 6 points in 6 weeks challenge. Reading is not just about the time that you spend reading. How are you training your reading brain? Our second challenge pushed you to earn 6 points in accelerated reader, or AR for short, in 6 weeks. Congratulations to our 48 Rockstar readers who won the challenge. All 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, all of you got to celebrate. The advisories with the most 6-point readers were Ms. Gabra, Dr. Hernandez, and Mr. Zong's advisories. Whoa, Mr. Zong's advisory, you're going to make this a three-peat? So, it's the middle of the year now. It's time to pause and ask, how are we doing? What do the numbers say? Remember, our goal is that 100% of students make growth on the last SRI test in May. That means your score in May is higher than your score from September. So we're at 66% so far. That means that 33% of you did not grow and many scores went down. This is serious, and it happens. On the other hand, 66% of you did grow. That's the positive. So your advisor has passed out to you a strip of paper. Here's how to understand your SRI growth so far. So your paper just has your name and these 4 numbers, right? This is the heading on top to help you understand that. So the first number here is if you're at Alliance and you took the SRI last school year, this is what your score is. Now, this is your score when you took the SRI in September, your score in January, and then this score is how much growth you made from September to January this year. Now, your growth might be positive, and some people made negative growth. So let's look at Jose, for example. So he took the SRI last year, and his score was 340. Now, this is a made-up person, Jose Juarez. Now, his SRI score actually went down when he took it in September. That can happen. It's called summer slide. If you're not reading all the time over the summer or writing or in summer school, that can happen to your SRI score. Well, he actually really focused over this past semester and was on time to class, was reading all the time, writing all the time, and he brought up his SRI score to 401 in January, right? So he grew 115 points. So this blue means that he gained at least 50 points on the SRI. Okay, that's a half year. He's on track to growing 1 year this year. Now, let's look at Sky Jackson. So if he has, and some people have an NA, that means not available. That means he didn't go to Alliance last year, or his score from last year is just not available for some reason. Okay, but he does have a score from September to January. He actually saw a decrease in his score. He went down 27 points, so you can see that is red because he lost between 26 to 50 points. Now, Leah, last year, she was a newcomer and not eligible for the SRI test. Some newcomers take the SRI test and some don't. She was eligible to take the SRI. In September, she scored 211. January, she went up to 217. She did make growth, however, it was very small. She grew 6 points. She wants to grow at least 50 points in a half year. She did make growth, but it was small. That's why she is yellow. So you can see that these colors here can help you understand what your growth means. So take a minute now to fill in the positive or negative growth you have made on your SRI from September to January. This is on your goal sheet. So to be on track to growing 1 year in reading, you should be in the blue zone. If you are in any other zone, even if it's green or yellow and you made growth, you need to make changes in your habits immediately because we want you to be able to grow 1 year in reading in 1 school year. If you are in red, dark red, red, or orange, you definitely need to make changes. If you're in blue, that's awesome. You're on track. Keep doing what you're doing, but you still need to monitor what you're doing because you could still slip down. So, what affects your reading growth? Let's look at what can affect it. Some things have a positive effect and other things have a negative effect. Maybe you made growth but didn't grow at least 50 points. Everyone can improve. Take 3 minutes with a shoulder partner and turn and talk at voice level 1 and make a list of as many things that can positively affect growth and negatively affect growth. For example, one thing that can positively affect your growth is reading every day. Okay? Then we're going to share as a class and see what needs to be added to this list. Go. Here we go. Here are some things that can positively affect your growth. Reading every day, including at home and on the weekend. Reading just right books. Writing reflections after reading. That's part of training your reading brain. Taking and passing AR quizzes. If you are passing AR quizzes, that is an indication that you are growing. Practicing reading, writing, listening, and speaking in all your classes, not just English, in every single class. Being on time to class makes a big difference. Having no absences and more. I'm sure you guys came up with more. So add anything to your list that you don't have, or you can also add to my list. So what can negatively affect growth? Not reading every day. Not reading a book cover to cover. Do you or someone else you know just randomly pick up a book every day in Alliance 100 and just read a little bit of the book and put it back? That's not reading a book cover to cover. You need to check out that book, take it home, read it cover to cover. If you're not reading just right books, that can negatively affect growth. Not reflecting after reading and doing your reading log. If you're not participating in all classes. If you have a lot of tardies. If you have a lot of absences and more. I'm sure you guys thought of more. So let's keep these in mind because we're going to do some goal setting. All right, so we need to do a better job as a school in supporting you to grow in reading. The best way to grow is to make a goal and have a plan. Without a plan, it's just a wish. So we're going to take several minutes to write goals now. And your advisor can structure this how he or she wants. It is important that you turn this sheet into your advisor, who will keep this in a folder to check in with you about it. So you're going to write a reading goal for the second half of this year. Here are some ways you could start your goal. For example, by May 2017, I will grow blah, 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 how many points on the SRI test. That's one example of how you can start it. Then you need your plan. In order to do this, I will So what positive changes will you make at school and at home? Perhaps you know that you are tardy a lot to class, and that is something that you want to change. Perhaps you know that you haven't found a book and are reading a book cover to cover in Alliance 100 time. That might be a positive change that you want to make. List the positive changes that you have control over that you want to make in order to meet your goal. Everybody's goal is going to be different. A goal is personal. So again, we're going to return to this very soon. Okay, your advisor is here to support you with regular check-ins to help you meet your goal. So you need to turn in the sheet. You have the power to make positive changes in your life. We're here to support you. All right, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the Spring 6 in 6 Reading Challenge. We want to help you meet those goals. Here we go. As you know, 6 in 6 is earning 6 points in 6 weeks on AR. So this challenge will test if you are understanding and learning what you're reading. There's no point in reading without learning. So take an AR quiz for every book you read during the challenge. If you pass, you earn points. The challenge starts Monday, February 13th, and will end on Tuesday, March 28th, essentially about 6 weeks. So some of you might have questions. For example, if you've been reading since January, any quizzes that you took during that time will also count. However, when I looked on AR, I actually saw very few people who took quizzes. So those of you who did take quizzes in January, there's only like a handful, less than 10 students in the school, then those quizzes will count towards this challenge. Advisories, step it up. We've got to be taking those quizzes every single week when you finish reading a book, challenge or not. So every student who earns 6 AR points by Tuesday, March 28th earns a ticket to the Alliance 100 Taqueria on Thursday, March 30th. So you'll know 2 days later. Whoa, wait a second. AR Showdown. This is a little bit different. So here is an added twist to this challenge. So the advisory with the highest percentage of readers who have taken at least one AR quiz, everybody in your advisory needs to take at least one AR quiz, and with the highest average quiz score, that means not just taking random quizzes, but also passing them with a high score. So the advisory, one per grade level, with the highest of these two percentages, earns 4 days of free dress at the end of the challenge. So we've got 6 in 6, and we've got the AR Showdown to support it. Okay, some of you might remember this. However, we only had 48 students qualify and win the 6 in 6 challenge last challenge. So we want to support all of you to earn 6 points. Some pro tips, get these in your notes. Read just right books. Number 2, read books that have AR quizzes. Number 3, do your reading logs and study them. Number 4, take and pass AR quizzes. And number 5, read at home, especially on minimum days when you do not have advisory, like at the end of a marking period when we have over a week of minimum days, you are still reading at home. So, reading just right books. You must read a book at your just right level. Again, if you've forgotten what that means, check out this picture to help you. Now you have your updated SRI score. Your just right levels are range from about 100 points below to about 50 points above your score. If you forgot your score, you have it right in front of you. That's why you're turning in your goal sheet to your advisor, or he or she can look it up for you. Okay? The reason why you need to read a book at your just right level is this is the level you learn best at. You should pass AR quizzes at this level. One thing to note is that in AR, we have turned on the setting for you to read books at your just right level. So, for example, if my just right level is about 400 to 550, I can't take any quizzes on books that are below a 400 Lexile anymore because that's not within my just right level. So you need to make sure a book is in your just right level. Otherwise, when you try and take a quiz on it, it won't let you in AR. Number 2, read books that have AR quizzes. This is important, okay, if you want to earn points for passing these quizzes. So before reading a book, look it up on a Chromebook to make sure it has an AR quiz. Here's the homepage. You click there. It brings you to here, right? Search for your book. You can enter the title or the author to see if it has a quiz. Check your spelling. And here you get to the book. See, I looked up I'm Just Me. I can see, yes, it has a quiz. Yes, it's worth 3 points if I pass it. Pro tip number 3, do your reading logs and study them. Your reading log is worth 25% of your advisory grade. Remember, that's the most important part because you can study this. You can use this on your quiz. Remember, your teacher keeps your reading log. They get passed out and passed back in. Write a thoughtful reflection every day after you read. This is to work out your brain and help it remember and understand what you're reading. And again, study those reflections before you take a quiz. Pro tip number 4, pass your AR quizzes. When you pass a quiz for a book, you get points. Each book is worth a different amount of points. Some books are a half a point, while some are 2 to 3 points. If you're reading at a lower Lexile, your books are usually shorter and worth less points, but that means you can finish them faster and take more quizzes. You may need to read 3 to 5 shorter books to earn 6 points. If you read at a higher Lexile, your books are longer and worth more points, so it will take you longer to finish them. You may need to read about 2 to 3 books to earn 6 points. Every quiz ranges from about 5 to 20 questions long. Here's the last pro tip, and one of the most important. This is a habit. This is developing a lifelong habit. Read at home, especially on minimum days when we don't have advisory. Your learning, your growth is your responsibility. Step up and make those positive changes in your life to meet your goals. And keep filling out your reading log and reflections on minimum days. It is your grade too. Lastly, you can check your AR points when you log into AR, and so can your teacher. Your class will continue to use the points tracker so that you and your teacher can easily see how you're doing at a glance. Your advisory teacher will also be able to keep track of which book you're currently reading on this tracker so that he or she can support you in finishing your book, studying for the quiz, and passing the quiz. That's it. Good luck and happy reading, Alliance. I can't wait to hear about the quizzes you'll be passing and all the reading and learning you'll be doing in advisory and at home. We go hard or go home, folks. That's why it's Alliance 100. I'll see you on March 30th at the Taqueria, and most importantly, we're all expecting to see those SRI scores go up in May. Woo!